conferences, piles of flyers, getting stuck on endless email lists, never-ending calls. There's an easier way to sort through and find the best school fundraisers. School Zone Podcast proudly presents the 10 top school fundraising ideas for 2017. A guide of top fundraising companies handpicked from the best podcasts. As an added bonus, it lists 5 awesome resource companies that would add tremendous value to your school and students. A guide to 10 top fundraising companies and 5 resource companies. And we're giving the guide away for free. That's right, for free. Ready to simplify the search? Download the free guide at schoolzonepodcast.com. Welcome to School Zone School Fundraising Ideas Podcast. We interview top fundraising and resource companies to help you find a solution to your next school fundraising or school resource need. Are you ready to simplify the search? Now, here's your host, Matt Miller.
Hey, School Zone Podcast listeners, Matt here at the San Jose Convention Center. It's Saturday afternoon. We're a little bit tired after a long 3 days, but I have Adam Shell with me of Parent Planet. I'm having a struggle right now speaking. Anyway, Adam, thanks for coming on, man. Tell us a little bit about you and why the heck you're here in beautiful San Jose inside on a Saturday.
Right? Tell me about it. It's a gorgeous day out there, but yet we are in this beautiful convention center here sharing our stuff. We are Parent Planet, and what we do is we have a scheduling and communication app designed around parents, schools, and extracurricular activities. One of the biggest problems that myself as a parent and my partner Mike both experience is either not enough communication from the school or too much communication from the school and given to us in a way that we basically have to take what they send us in an email and then digest it and parse out information, figure out what applies to us, add things to our personal calendars, make sure we get it right. And then if they send out an email 3 months later that says, hey, that event that we told you about in the beginning of the school year is no longer happening on Tuesday, it's now happening on Wednesday, I got to make sure that that gets changed in my calendar. Otherwise, 90% of the time I actually show up on Tuesday. So what we did is we took all those ideas and all those frustrations, and we said, okay, we need a better way to communicate. The schools need a better way to communicate with us, and we need a better way to manage our systems to figure out what's going on in our kids' lives. We have such busy lives, and our kids are involved in so many things and so many different things, not just at school, but after school activities, sports, gymnastics classes, whatnot, that it's so helpful to have it all in one simple stream, one calendar, that you look at, that you go, okay, this is all the stuff that applies to my kids. And that information is correct because it's coming from the service provider, whether it's a school or an after-school activity. So we created a beautiful layout that is scheduling, messaging, homework, even assignments can be put in there. We also have a contacts directory. We do volunteer signups. We have emergency messaging. So we try to put as much stuff in there that's important to parents and schools so that, this whole management system just becomes a lot easier.
So what's your background?
So my background is I'm a musician and a filmmaker and a parent. I like to consider I'm also an entrepreneur. I've started and sold several businesses in my past, and I like to consider myself an idea guy. I'm a creative, and so I'm always the one with the wild ideas. Thank God I have a partner that is like, okay, yeah, you need to calm down, you need to slow down. Not that one right now, but how about if we put that on a list somewhere?
That sounds like my wife in my household. I'm the same guy, and my wife is the one that brings me back down off the cloud.
She's like, get down here. It's dinner time.
Yeah.
It's important, but, she needs you to bring her up to the cloud every now and again, right? So, this whole thing, here's how this started. My first child was born, my son, and when he started preschool, he was in an after-school activity, an enrichment program at the school, and it was a dance program. And the dance program had sent out an invitation to their recital. It was the first time he was ever going to be performing, my little 3-year-old son. And I saw that email, and I thought it was junk. I thought it was some dance company trying to market to me, come to our show and then sign up your kids, having no idea that there was my son was in this. So of course I missed it, and I was devastated. Of course, my son will never remember this, but I was devastated. I was heartbroken, and I was like, "Oh my God, I let him down." And I was like, "But wait a second, there has to be a better way. How did I not know about this?" And part of that fell on, it was a weird situation that this third-party company I'd never heard of is sending me an email, and that, was aside the point. But I was like, I need something to tell me when everything's going on so that I don't have to rely on these fragmented pieces of communication to, run my whole life, right? I'm getting an email once a week where I have to go through and I have to go, okay, they told me that event is happening on this day, but wait, no, my son's not in that. Okay, next one. And then start adding these things to my calendar. And then how do I get that information to my wife? And then, it's like everything's all over the place. And what if I get it wrong? And, all these things that I was like, there has to be a better way. And so I came up with this idea to build Parent Planet. And I've pitched the idea to my partner, Mike, and he loved it. He has 2 kids, same age as my kids, actually, and we're off and running.
So then how did you guys get it built? And, is the Mike the tech guy?
Yeah. Mike is a techie guy. He's run website companies before and e-commerce websites and stuff like that. So he has a lot of experience in that tech world. I personally have none. My brother actually is a tech guy. He's a programmer. He'll have nothing to do with me, though. He thinks I'm crazy. He only thinks I'm crazy until something takes off. Then he's like, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me talk to you for a minute. And then I realize, oh, no, we could never work together. I love you, but we could never work together. But, Mike and I work great together. We've known each other a long time, been friends since high school. And we always ran these little businesses together as in high school and stuff, selling tickets to an after party and throwing parties and stuff like that. And we always talked about doing something together. So every time I would come up with a harebrained idea, I would call him up and be like, "Yo, here's my next crazy idea." And he'd be like, "Yeah, have a nice time with that." And then this one, he was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds interesting. And I was like, "All right, okay, I'll tell you the next one." And then like a week later, he calls me back and he's like, I can't stop thinking about this. He's like, this is great. He goes, I need this. And it just worked out perfectly that we both have kids the same age and in school, and we both suffer this problem. So we immediately started sketching out ideas, and I had already kind of drawn up a little bit of a framework, and then we started putting the whole thing together.
So then how does this work? Explain the process. Explain how this simplifies my life
absolutely.
as a parent, and how it actually allows me to be where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And synthesizes all that information.
Yeah.
In a usable format.
So the school will ideally sign up and start using the app. And the school will break everything down into groups. So you'll have at the top level, you'll have all school. And the administrator of that group, whether it's a principal, an administrator, a faculty person, a communications person, every school operates a little different. They'll start entering in all school event calendar information into the Parent Planet. And they'll add everybody in the school, every kid, and all the kids are connected to parents via email address, basically. So they'll just type in the kid's name and the email address, and they can do this easily onboarding process through importing a CSV file or, importing, just email addresses on the website. We make that really easy to onboard schools. And then every class or group within the school will have their own group. So whether it's first grade, second grade, whether it's second grade reading A, reading B, and then each person will basically be put into those groups, allowing a direct communication stream to those specific people, those specific parents. So everybody's kind of connected through their children to the school, to these groups. So the administrator of any one of these groups can start adding things to those calendars, and they start appearing in my feed. Now what's great about that is everything in my feed applies to my kid. So I'm not getting a feed from the 4th grade. I'm getting a feed only from the 1st grade because I have a 1st grader. So that simplifies that communication and makes sure that when I open up my app, I see all the events. We've also done something really cool where we color-coded each child and then put icons next to each event that associate with the school. So next to the school icon, And next to the school event, you'll see a little icon that looks like a schoolhouse. Next to the soccer event, you'll see a little soccer ball. Next to the baseball event, so on and so forth. And we have, a couple hundred icons. And so everything you're getting, and that includes not only scheduling, but messages, signups, all through those specific groups, so that you as a teacher will have a direct line of communication to everybody in your class.
So how are most parents keeping track of this stuff today?
They aren't.
They're not at all. They're just kind of winging it.
It's different. Everybody's different. I've met parents who are like, yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. I just wing it. And then I've met other parents who are like, let me show you. And they pull out this folder that's like all highlighted and color coded themselves. And they're like, oh, and this is over here. And they've created their own organizational system. And so it is a real problem that, there is this gap of, some are real organized and some aren't. And that's one of the problems that we face is, people don't necessarily know where and when to be or how things are happening. And that's a problem for the schools, because the schools want that parent engagement. They want parents to feel like they're involved. They want parents to feel like they know what's going on in their child's life. I mean, the worst thing that happens to a parent is you send your kid off to school, and then the only feedback you get is, so how was school today? Fine. It's like, really, that's all I get? You want that communication from the teacher or the room parent or the school telling you what's going on, but there's nothing worse than getting a 3-page email at the end of every week telling you everything that goes on in the school, and you're like, I got to read this thing, and
right.
half of it applies to you and half of it doesn't, and you just don't. And most of us don't have the time, and you want to read it, but by the time you actually get around to it, that stuff doesn't apply anymore.
So is there a tie at all with any other calendar type software or anything, or is it just a self-contained app?
So it is a self-contained app. However, we do connect to other things. So, for example, you open up your app, you see an event on Thursday. There's a baseball game at 4:00. You click on that event. There's a button at the bottom that says "Add to Personal Calendar."
So I could add it to like my Google Calendar or whatever.
Exactly.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
Because I didn't a couple of years ago, but as busy as I've gotten, I live by my Google Calendar now.
Right.
The invites that can be done, the RSVPs, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
So, man, the ability to do that now brings it into my world, at least.
Exactly.
In a way that I can use it.
Right.
And make sure that I'm deconflicting my business and work schedule with my kid's schedule.
Exactly. And that's one of the prime features that I said, okay, and we need to be able to add this to our personal calendars, because there's nothing worse than going, okay, here's the information over here on the school website. Now I got to copy and paste and make sure it's right. And that's the big one, is like, oh, I entered Tuesday, it was Wednesday. I can't tell you how many times this happened to me and my wife, where she's like, mad at me because I screwed that up, right? But then the worst is when you actually do that and you go through this painstaking process, you finally get it all in, you're like, all right, we're good. And then they change it on you.
Right.
And you miss the email that they sent out when they changed it, or it's like,
right.
You're like, oh yeah, now I gotta update my calendar. I'll do that later. And then 70 more emails pile in, and you just completely forget about it. So our system will manage that for you all the way down to your Google Calendar or your personal calendar on your phone or wherever it is. So once you click add, if it changes, they change it in the app and changes all the way down to your personal calendar.
That's cool.
So you're on the same page all the time.
So how does a school go about onboarding or setting up with you guys? How do you guys get paid? What are some of those details?
So the app is free to use for parents. You can download it today in the App Store, Parent Planet, or go to our website. There's links on there, parentplanet.com. And you can start creating calendars for yourself, for your family. This is one of the best features we have, is that it's not just the school. You can use it to actually manage all your other stuff as well. Whether your service provider is on board or not, you can still create those groups. So let's say you're on a baseball team and you get the schedule, they email you the schedule, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to put this into my Parent Planet. And then you're talking with one of the other parents, and they're like, oh, that's cool, you did that. You could say, sure, let me invite you to that group. And you can just put their email address, their kid's name in there, and they get invited to that group. So now they're getting that stream that you've set up,
right? Which
is really cool, because then you can say, oh, you know what, I'll invite the entire team. So this is at the free level, and you would administer that group. You'd be the only one allowed to administer that group. When you move up to the organizational level, where schools are and all that. That's when you get those permission levels included, where the administrators can have control of the groups below them, and then only the people that are administrators of each group can control those groups. We also have a great thing for room parents. Room parents can get access to the group as well. They couldn't necessarily adjust anything that the teacher put in, but they can add stuff and send messages and help manage that schedule as well. Also at the administration or the organization level, we have an emergency message system, which is great because, most emergency message systems, an administrator has to get back to a computer or get to a phone, pick up the phone, dial a certain number. They have to look up that number. They have to enter a code. They have to look up that code. So you have all these pieces of information you got to get together. With our system, it's one login. Everything happens through one login, and once you've logged in, you stay logged in on your phone, and you go to the app, hit new message, emergency message, verify you want to send it, you pick your group, type in the message, it'll send it out via text, email, push notification in the app, and a robocall. So we're really hitting all the bases and creating a very easy to use system for the administrators and the teachers and the parents.
So then that level, I guess the school subscribes?
Yeah, that's the pay level. The school will subscribe, and our current pricing models are $5 per kid per year. And then we have tiers of once you get, volume discounts and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So are you guys just working primarily in this area right now, or, as far as scope, I guess you can work anywhere, right?
Yeah,
It's an app.
Our idea is that we wanted to build a robust system that kind of encompasses the whole parent's life. That's what I want as a parent. I want one place where I can go for all of my information. So the trajectory is to expand beyond, just the stuff that we're currently managing and include stuff like, get all the camps in, get all the extracurricular activities, and then hopefully one day down the line include stuff like, being able to find different activities for our kids and see where things are happening and kind of all that kind of stuff too, because that's another problem we all face is how do you find these programs, and what's the best soccer class for my kid, and
Right.
what's the one that my friends are taking, and all that kind of stuff. So building this community where people can really engage and connect is kind of part of the goal.
So what's the best way for folks to reach out to you guys if they want to know more about the administrative level with their schools? Obviously that they can pull down the app or go to parentplanet.com. What other avenues?
You can email me. Email me at adam@parentplanet.com, or you can email my partner Mike at parentplanet.com. Either one of us will get back to you rather quickly, and we can start a conversation. We'll come out and do a demo for you. If you're not in the locality that we're in at that moment, we travel a lot, so we're kind of all over the place, but we can always do an online demo. We have a bunch of videos on our website, tutorial videos, demonstration videos, all that kind of stuff too. So you can go on there and see what we're all about.
Any last parting thoughts you want to leave with the School Zone audience, Adam?
One of the things that the principles that we subscribe to in building this app and building this system is making it easy and comfortable to use for everybody. So we've taken a lot of care and time into designing things that every function kind of works exactly the same, whether you're creating a new message, whether you're creating a new event, whether you're creating a homework assignment. It all kind of looks and feels the same. So there's a very low bar to entry. So once you get in there, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of understand how this works. And then as we're building features and adding on features, we're very much in the mindset of do it once, do it right. Don't just slap on things so that we can advertise, oh, we have this feature, we have 100 features. Let's do the features that we do, and let's do them really, really well so that A, people can rely on them, and B, people are comfortable using them. And then as we iterate and we add features, it follows that same scheme so that when you say, okay, now here's our photos feature, which is actually coming out in the fall, you're going to look at that, you're going to go, oh, yeah, that feels just like everything else. I already know how to use this. So you don't get confused, because that's one of the big problems with technology today, right? You get something, you're like, I have no idea how to use this. I'm not spending the time to figure it out.
Awesome. Adam Shell, Parent Planet, thanks for joining us in the School Zone. Hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend, and best of luck to you, man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the School Zone's School Fundraising Ideas Podcast and for simplifying the search. Be sure to subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. When you do, please leave us a 5-star review in iTunes or your podcast player of choice.
There are a lot of kids in this world just like me, except they don't have a way to get any clean drinking water. Clean Water Kids is the kid part of kidsacrosscultures.org, where we ask school kids to be our partner in raising awareness for water projects. Clean water changes kids, which changes schools and changes families. And when we help other kids get clean water, it changes us. Clean water changes everything. Raising money for water filters and other water projects is really easy. We have schools, organizations, and other groups all over who do it. Go to cleanwaterkids.com for more information and ideas on how you can partner with us. Although we focus on schools, you don't have to be a school to help us. You can tell your school, your team, your church, your club, or troop, or whatever you're a part of about cleanwaterkids.com and see how easy it is to help. I think every kid deserves clean water to drink. Don't you? I'm Travis, and I'm a clean water kid.